just to the front bumper, and he hits him again now. Ray Alfala into the outside wall.
He's going to pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's going to get them all done with. What amazing.
Lee to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is going to touch in. Pit press sideways. What a save.
Look to the outside as Tronke goes off. De Jong into second place.
Going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's howling down to the inside.
He's trying, there's contact though.
Slide left of the racetrack. Chris Renner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact.
He's going to try and make the move around the outside the parabolica. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cutback here. Get the run out the parabolica. That's beautifully done there. Makashube, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
Hello and welcome to SimSpeed TV's coverage of the official iRacing Rallycross Championship. It's round 7, we're coming at you from Lucas Oil Raceway. And as we say, the official series, so safety rating, I-rating, championship points, all on the line here. I'm David Haynes, and joining me is Cam Dance. Cam, would it be fair to say that this one is one of the more technical, more tighter, twistier of the Rallycross circuits we go to?
Yeah, I think it is. I'm pretty sure, judging by the way that if you were to class all the rally tracks together and have a look at them, this would probably be the toughest one of them all because of just the way that the layout was designed and the fact that you've got the different surface changes at different points.
Yeah, exactly. So watching on board with qualifying now of Rebecca Pauline race clutch, we see that it's quite a tight infield section leading towards that jump. So it's not easy to get the traction down on the dirt, and there's plenty of pavement in this lap as well. So a bit of a setup compromise there, because a car that turns well on the pavement is going to be a bit of a leery handful on the dirt. You see our own man Reese Gardner, Fusion Sim Racing, in the Subaru there, and on the right hand side of the screen, your timing as they stand right now. So getting a good look at this circuit, you see the Joker lap entrance there. It's a pretty short delta that the Joker lap gives you around this track compared to some others.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really, really different sort of track, and that Joker really does make it interesting, especially if people take it on the first lap, because you suddenly come right out in front of everybody who's checking up for the quote-unquote turn 1. So it's, yeah, going to be interesting to see what happens. You might see a few incidents because of it, because there'll be people who'll go for the Joker and people who won't, and they won't actually expect it. So possibly see some incidents, possibly not, but we'll have to wait and see.
It's Rallycross. I think we definitely will see some door banging, see some incidents. It's always hectic, fast-paced action, and that's what people love about it. We're going to have a nice grid. 12 or 13 cars means we will get 2 heats, a last chance qualifying, and a feature, a consolation is what you can also call last chance qualifying. So there'll be plenty of action, and we're watching this right now. Wayne Burke won performance racing in a Ford Fiesta. 3 models of cars available. There is this Ford Fiesta, there's the Subaru Impreza WRX, and there is also the Volkswagen Beetle GRC, and I think we've definitely got one of each, at all of them represented through the field.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. There is actually at least one of each. I know that Burke's obviously in a Ford, 4 Fiestas, 3 or 4 Subarus, and a couple of V-dubs. So, yeah, going to be really interesting to see who has the advantage where as far as the car dynamics and who's going to have the advantages where and all that sort of stuff. We obviously know that the Beetle's rear engine, so the traction there is going to be a lot better than what you'd find in maybe something like a Subaru, but the Subaru is a lot longer, so it's able to navigate its way through some of these corners a lot better. So, yeah, it's going to be really, really interesting to see who does well and who doesn't, and just what sort of advantages and disadvantages everybody's going to have.
Yeah, Darren McKenzie there is the last driver to put a time on the board. Take a quick look at those conditions. Partly cloudy, 22 degrees there, 30 on the track. I don't think the track temperature has a huge effect in Rallycross as much as it does in, for example, GT racing. And in just not too long, we will have a rundown of the qualifying order as we go into the first heat. Quick look there at the stats of the circuit. Lucas Oil Raceway, it's Rallycross layout. Using a lot of the infield, it's a pretty small oval compared to some of the other ones we go to. So 1.26 kilometers, got 2 heats, 1 last chance qualifying, and 1 10-lap main. And of course, in all of those races, drivers will have 1 joker that they have to use, and it's up to them when they take it. So you see on the right there, Rebecca Pauline on pole, not a 10th clear of Eddie Kerner though. Then Matt Hartley, Cohen Attard, Jake Burton, Wayne Burke, Daniel Ash, and then Reese Gardner in 8th, 1.2 seconds off Mitchell McLeod, and then Mitchell Wiley. And we've got a couple of other cars as well, but it's 10 seconds before we're going to start that first heat.
Yeah, absolutely. And that run to turn 1 is going to be fairly interesting. You actually start on the back straight for the gating as far as starting a race goes, and then you head through what is effectively the speedways turn 3 and 4, and then head yourself down the front straight into turn 1. So going to be interesting. It is slightly banked higher up close to the wall, so you might find those who do start further to the outside have a little bit of an advantage, but that joke's going to play in some people's hands, and we'll see what happens.
Yep, 7 cars for Heat 1. On the front row, as it were, Rebecca Pauline, Matt Hartley, Jake Burton. Behind them, Daniel Ash and Mitchell McLeod. And then bringing up the rear is Eric Burke and Darren McKenzie. See the number 1, the number 2, and the number 3 car on the front of the grid here. Almost all on the grid. And Cam, in a second, we're going to go race.
Yeah, absolutely. The revs are rising at the moment. Everybody's getting ready to go, as we're not too far, and the green flag is away. And actually, Matt Hartley was rolling backwards a little bit there, so he's going to have got swamped off the start. He's actually going to fall all the way down to outside the top 5 just about, but gets a little bit in these 3 wide at the moment with McLeod, and someone else on. McLeod makes contact with someone. That's a huge shunt into the turn 1, and that was Daniel Age. So really, really unfortunate there. And someone else is around in the background, Eric Burke. So bit of argy-bargy in the start. Oh, and Burton and Hartley getting together as well as they come onto the dirt section. So it's all going off at the moment, and we're only lap 1 in.
Yeah, McLeod carries on uninjured. A few cars taking the joker off the start there. Rebecca Pauline still leads, pulled a little bit of a gap on Jake Burton. He's kind of forced his way through on Matt Hartley, but Hartley goes wide, and McLeod might get a chance to get underneath him on the oval again. We saw if they go 2 or 3 wide on these oval sections, it can end in tears. Great view backwards at that Torque Inc. Ford Fiesta as Matt Hartley is going to grab the joker, try and get himself clear of McLeod. Rejoins right in front of him, and McLeod has clipped that tyre bundle and shortcutted the circuit.
Yeah, he had to take evasive action there. I don't think he really expected Hartley to pop out where he did, and Hartley actually clipped the outside wall coming through that section as well, so not sure if he's got any damage. McLeod looks like he does have quite a bit, but Hartley at the moment still going on and hunting down Burton and Paul.
Yeah, it goes to show what we saw just then is that taking the joker lap here really only gains you about 2 tenths or so. It's not like some other circuits where it's 2 or 3 seconds and you can really find yourself some clean air with it. And you see Rebecca Pauline and Jake Burton have the little icon next to their name. They've taken it. Now Darren McKenzie grabs it as well. Started pretty far back in the grid, but has managed to stay out of some of these troubles. The likes of Mitchell McLeod there and such. So pretty clean run from him means that he'll probably go through into the final.
Yeah, absolutely. Top 4 go through in the heat, so he'll be making it straight through at this rate, as McLeod's got quite a bit of damage, although he seems to be starting to catch back up to McKenzie, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. But if McKenzie can just hold on to that top 4, he'll be on for an automatic transfer straight into the feature at the...
Yeah, exactly. 2 laps to go. Rebecca Pauline's pulled a little bit of a gap, 2 seconds over Jake Burton. He's got 2 seconds over Matt Hartley. I think Darren McKenzie is going to have to be careful about Mitch McLeod behind. And then Daniel Aish still running in 7th after that huge impact with that wall on the first lap. Unfortunate start, but thankfully there will be a last chance qualifier. He's not out of it, still with a chance of being able to transfer into the feature.
Yeah, absolutely. There's every chance he could possibly win the last chance qualifier. There's every chance he couldn't. It's all about just making sure you get through in the end. So that's all that's going to matter, because you don't really want to have your night ended early doing only the last chance qualifier in a heat, because that's worst case scenario. But McLeod's actually really closing in on McKenzie here. He's actually a couple of tenths quicker, but it's probably going to be marginal as to whether he's going to catch McKenzie, as McKenzie actually just touched the outside wall there through turn 2. But it's gonna be close, as McLeod actually taps the outside wall there coming onto the dirt section. But again, it's gonna be close, as looks like Rebecca Pauline is coming through the final corner now, and she will take the one for heat number 1. Jake Byrne heading through as well, and he will take 2nd. 3rd will go to Matt Hartley. 4th is looking pretty comfortable for McKenzie, so he will take the final transfer spot.
Yep, exactly, and then rounding it out, just missing his McKenzie, but problems for Eric Burke, and Daniel Aish won't be able to grab him towards the line, I think. It just shows these really tight corners, the tyre bundles on the inside. It's too easy to make a mistake late. So your results there, Rebecca Pauline taking the win, 4.6 seconds clear of Jake Burton. Those two really scurrying away from 3rd place, Darren McKenzie. And Mitchell McLeod grabs 4th place, that final transfer spot to put him straight through into the feature. Matt Hartley 5th, Eric Burke 6th, Daniel Aish 7th. And now coming up is Heat 2. We'll see who else will be making their way straight into the feature to join those, and who will be needing the last chance qualifier. So your entry list there: Eddie Kerner, Cohen Attard, and Wayne Burke on the front row. Behind them is Reese Gardner, Mitchell Wiley, and Ross Fallon. So this is going to be an interesting one to watch as well, because we had the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd numbered cars in the first heat, and they're away already.
Yeah, absolutely great start there from, I believe that was Eddie, doing a fantastic job actually holding on for the time being, although a couple of guys taking the Joker. Cohen Attard on Reese Gardner having a huge moment into the Joker, as well as Mitchell Wiley, both of them with massive damage, so they'll be out of it completely. And a bit of contact between Wayne Burke and Cohen Attard, so Attard moves into second, and now he's making contact with Eddie Kerner, and they're both bashing wheels and doors, so all going off on these first laps so far.
Yeah, this heat absolutely bringing the action. That was a massive impact from Reese Gardner. I have to say his car is probably done. But look at these 4 battling for the lead, so close. Some of them taking the Joker already, and there's more contact, and it's nearly flipped. My goodness, this is survival of the fittest. Cohen Attard has not had an easy time of it. The suspension is absolutely crushed on that thing. So my oh my, have we seen action on just the first lap as Wayne Burke takes his Joker.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just been going off on the starts of these races. We're going to grab a CPR Car Parts instant replay real quick of the start, because that was just an absolutely chaotic start. You had cars going through wide at certain points, and then you just had everybody trying to funnel into turn 1 and take Jokers and do all sorts, and it just went straight to nowhere really.
Reese Gardner, a very late decision to take the Joker, gets a little tap from behind and then straight into that tyre wall. Get an angle from here. There it is. Wiley gives him a teeny bit of a bump, but I think Reese Gardner was going to have some problems with that Joker entry regardless. So we are back live. We'll run you down that order because Eddie Kerner is leading. Wayne Burke, Ross Thallon, Cohen Attard still going to get a transfer spot despite all of the contact, the bumping and barging, and Mitchell Wiley and Reese Gardner with big damage a lap behind. So Eddie Kerner, the number 6 car, leading this one with the Volkswagen Beetle, and that corner right there, from the dirt onto the pavement, very tight corner, that's another place we can see some passing. In the infield, there's also some tight corners on the dirt, and those are very slow, really concertina the field up, and that's why we saw some contact through them as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Those tighter corners really do tend to check the field up, as everybody's obviously trying to get the power down as best as they can and not spin the wheels up too much. As you can actually see already on some of this dirt section that there's actually starting to be a bit of a tarmac sort of line from where the dirt's worn away, and there's starting to become what would actually be pit lane on the ovals. So there's going to be a lot more grip on that inside line, so guys are going to be able to take it and throw it up there a bit easier, but it's gonna be interesting to see what happens.
One lap to go now for Eddie Kerner, and he hit the tyre bundle. He's going for his Joker. He hit the tyre bundle earlier, and that really allowed Wayne Burke to close it up, and he's had a scruffy exit of the Joker too. Wayne Burke is right there, flying in that One Performance Racing Ford Fiesta. Not sure it'll catch him on the line, but he's showing great pace, and second place will put him through into the feature. So it's looking good for Wayne Burke, even if he doesn't pick up the win here. Ross Thallon is pretty untroubled for third. Cohen Attard untroubled for fourth, because Wiley and Gardner, I think, are practically DNFs in this one. They'll have to hope they can pull something out in the last chance qualifier. Eddie Kerner just has enough of a gap coming towards the line now, but he was pressurized, as you could say, by Wayne Burke. So close for first and second, and my goodness, were the first 2 laps full of action. Here comes your third place finisher, Ross Thallon. And fourth place isn't too far behind that, Cohen Attard. And as we said, DNFs for Fusion Sim Racing's Reese Gardner, for Race Honor's Mitchell Wiley, which means we're going to see them in the next race, the last chance qualifier.
Yeah, absolutely. Last chance qualifier. The top 2, I believe, only go through in this race out of 5 cars starting it. So, gonna be all about making sure that you make it through, as probably Hartley and Gardner are going to be the ones to watch for it, but we've got the order on screen of who's racing. We've got Matt Hartley, Reese Gardner, Eric Burke, Mitchell Wiley, and rounding out the field, Daniel Aish. So top 2 go through. It'll be all about just keeping your nose clean, I think, and just really not getting into trouble and just making sure you finish at the end of the day, because from what we've seen in the first 2 races on the first lap, anything can happen.
Yeah, on the grid now. First lights are on, and now the second lights are on. They will go racing. These are all guys who are in this race because they had a scruffy heat. So they'll all hopefully learn something from that, hopefully keep it cleaner. But this is last chance qualifying. It's all on the line.
Hartley! Then he's on the fence!
My goodness, so Matt Hartley gets a big hip and shoulder into a barrier there, and unfortunately that's his
he's just got 2 Erics around as well, and so is Wiley.
Oh my goodness, Gardner. So I don't even know what the order is now, because once again, these guys showing how desperate they are. Let's get the replay right now of that start, because once again, chaos coming off the line. Watching Matt Hartley of Synergy Sim Racing now. He's got the inside line. What happens? He gets bumped down a little bit by Burke potentially. Can't correct it, and he hits that start line gantry. And then we watch Eric Burke for a little bit now. And Daniel Aish bumps Reese Gardner around. That's what happened on that first lap. 2 guys not having a good start whatsoever. Watching from Daniel Aish's perspective, he sees that first incident. He tries to go down the inside of Gardner, gives him a big bump. I think Eric Burke went deep into that corner as well, so Daniel Aish into the lead after that first lap. Let's go back live now, Cam.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been full on so far. If this is anything to go by for the feature, it's going to be just as bad, if not even better. So, fingers crossed, it's cleaner, but so far, 3 out of 3, it could be 4 out of 4, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, Yep, so Daniel Eisch leading 2.5 seconds clear of Mitchell Wiley, who has that last sought-after transfer spot. Eric Burke behind him, not really closing it up right now, but still has a joker in hand to play. If you can put in some clean laps here, if there's a problem for Mitchell Wiley, and if you can maybe claw back a tiny bit of time with his joker, it's all to play for. You watch, this is the longest dirt corner on the lap, and Daniel Eisch runs a little wide of the apex, and then wide of the apex through the next one, so Wiley might just catch him. And if those two go bumping and barging, then it's Eric Burke's luck that might pull him up into a transfer spot. That's what he's going to be hoping for, and Eisch still needs to take his joker. Doing that now. We've seen that it's a very, very dangerous joker. The entry's tricky, and then it puts you in a difficult spot. Very narrow line to get back onto the regular racing surface. And look, Mitchell Wiley has pulled a second out. He might know he's going to transfer from that spot, but I'm sure he'd want the win in this heat too.
Yeah, absolutely. The higher you can finish up in the last chance qualify, the better off your grid position is going to be in the features. So if he can get by, he'll be pretty well pleased with that. But at this stage, doesn't really need to take too many risks. Just need to pretty much make sure he puts in consistent clean laps and make sure as he finishes, because you don't want to put it yourself at risk and end up DNFing at this point, especially with only a handful of laps to go as well, and this close to being transferring to the A main.
Yeah, exactly. 2 laps to go. Both of these guys have taken their joker laps now, and Wiley continuing to close it up a little bit. In these rallycross races, it's so important to get the car to the apex, keep everything neat and tidy. We've seen both of them missing some of the apexes a little bit. Now, if you get too close and you hit a tyre bundle, that can absolutely destroy your suspension and your steering, but you do lose a whole heap of time by, you know, not taking the shortest possible route. We watch Eisch goes a little bit wide of the tyre bundle there, so does Mitchell Wiley, and they're going to come to the last lap this time. Eric Burke's had some problems somewhere. He's parked up. He's not going to continue, so only 2 cars left on the circuit for the last lap, and I believe both of them are going to transfer, as you said, into that A main, into that feature race, which is going to come up very, very soon. And Daniel Eisch and Mitchell Wiley will be joining that as things stand right now.
Yeah, absolutely. The 2 in front, pretty much straight through, no issue. Even if Mitchell Wiley or Eisch DNF'd at this point, it wouldn't really matter. And did actually just go back and have a look at Eric Burke's incident, and he actually rolled it from clipping a tyre bundle as he come onto the dirt section. So really, really unfortunate for him, as he was actually not doing too bad in trying to catch these guys even. But Eisch takes the win from Mitchell Wiley to take the first transfer spot, with Wiley taking the other one, which means they will head straight through to the feature.
Yeah, exactly. With Eric Burke in 3rd place, he really had nothing to lose from pushing that car as hard as he can, and unfortunately made a little mistake doing so. But, you know, nothing ventured, nothing gained, especially if you're outside of those transfer spots. So here is our entry list for the feature race. 10 laps. Rebecca Pauline, Eddie Kerner, and Jake Burton at the front. In the middle is Wayne Burke, Darren McKenzie, Ross Thalen, and Mitchell McLeod. And up the back, Cohen Attard, Daniel Eisch, and Mitchell Wiley. This is the most cars we've had on track. This is going to be a very, very interesting race start.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of cars, 10 cars to be exact. Turn 1, probably 4 cars wide at least. We'll see what happens, because so far 3 out of 3 have had ins.
Yep, so the lights are on. They'll be going green now. Rebecca Pauline has the inside. Pretty reasonable jump. You're not necessarily safe down there, as they're 3 wide on the oval section. A little bit of pavement before we get to any of the dirt. Some bumping and barging, but no one with any real damage yet. And they're going for the joker lap right off the bat, half of the grid. So Rebecca Pauline feeds back out to the inside, side by side with Kerner, who holds on to 2nd place. Hasn't used his joker yet, gets a little bit of a bump from behind.
Oh, Burton's been turned as well, and he's rolled it. It's been collected by McLeod as well, I think it was.
As well. That's a horrible start from Jake Burton. So we grab a quick replay of that one, Cam.
Yeah, that was really, really unfortunate for Burton there. Just didn't really have anything else he could have done. It was just a matter of the car behind just being a little bit too eager. I'm pretty sure that was Cohen Attard. It was actually just getting a little bit too eager on the brakes, and that was actually from trying to pass Wayne Burke. So it was a little bit of a strange one, that you could say. I mean, you couldn't really put anyone to blame there, because Attard was trying to pass and he just outbroke himself a little bit, I guess.
1.5 laps in the books. This is the big race. This is the one that they all care about. And the finishing position is your finishing position. No more heats, no more transfers. Rebecca Pauline leads, has already taken her joker. Eddie Kerner and Cohen Attard second and third haven't taken their joker yet. Wayne Burke in fourth here. He was quick in his heat. He's in fourth place right now and challenging Cohen Attard a little bit. Darren McKenzie's got fifth. Ross Thelen is sixth. Mitchell McLeod is seventh. As going for that joker is Cohen Attard. He feeds out right inside where Wayne Burke wants to be. And they are close as you like. Burke might give him a little nudge. This is the slowest bit of the circuit, these tight dirt turns. They take that big jump, all four wheels in the air. Got to land the car straight to turn into this long dirt turn. And Burke behind, taking a bit of a tighter line, compromises him maybe a little bit coming back onto the pavement. They're both very close and maybe closing up Kerner a little bit, but Rebecca Pauline looking unchallenged in the lead.
Yeah, absolutely. Rebecca doing a fantastic job at the moment in that race clutch. VW Beetle pretty much just straight pulling away from the field and no challenge at all from anyone at this stage. So really unchallenged and pretty much an easy win at this point. But that battle for the final podium spot between Attard and Burke, Burke's really got to do the passing now on the track as they've both taken their joker, and Burke looking up the inside, but he's not going to get the job done as Attard running a little bit wide, but Burke holding on. So it's fairly close as Burke's all over the back end.
Enjoy the game. Outside wall gets in the way of Wayne Burke. That's compromised him a little bit. And the car behind, Jake Burton, for the second time this race on his lid. That's very unfortunate for him. Has that compromised anyone behind? It's robbed us of that great battle we had for third place. Wayne Burke was looking really good on the dirt. Cohen Attard looking really good on the pavement. And Burke's closed some of that time up. See, through that corner there, much tighter line, much smoother power delivery from Burke on the dirt. Then when they get on the pavement, Cohen Attard looks a lot stronger. Here again on the dirt, tidier line from Wayne Burke, closes up some, just doesn't quite get the grip on the pavement. This is your closest battle for the final spot on the podium. We're about to start lap 6. That's halfway in this race. You see way out on the pavement goes Wayne Burke. He's going to try and dive it down to the inside. This is his best shot here when they come onto the dirt. Once again, Cohen Attard a bit wide, leaves the door open, and Burke throws his Ford Fiesta in.
Yeah, but Attard's right there, and Burke actually running wide and not getting the power down. So Attard's straight back through and into the podium position that he was in before. But like you said, it's really interesting to see the difference the two of these have. There's contact between Burke and Cohen Attard, and Burke's actually hit the wall with the left rear. So he's had to cut that entire hairpin there, so he'll have a slowdown. But like you said just before, it's really interesting to see that difference. Burke better on the dirt, but Attard better on the pavement. So it's that sort of difference that we're seeing between the two cars and which one's got the better grip and which one doesn't.
So will Burke get a penalty? Has he given up the slowdown? And if he hasn't yet, where will he give it up? Will he try and park his car somewhere that will hinder Cohen Attard behind? We'll have to see. But right now, 4 laps to go. Rebecca Pauline still leads from Eddie Kerner, and Mitchell McLeod's had some problems, so he's a retirement as well, along with Jake Burton. 8 cars still going. We're watching this third place battle, Wayne Burke, Cohen Attard, and I tell you what, Eddie Kerner, not too far ahead of them, can't afford any mistakes. And as we say that, man, he gets the outside, bumping the outside wall. Watch him right here. Another battle deeper down though, Cam.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all sorts on for the minor positions at the moment between Thelen and Wiley, who currently battling for sits in 7th position. Thelen just behind as we ride on board with them at the moment as they head into turn 1, and Wiley with a bit of a wide entry there, but he's managed to keep it going regardless. So 2 Race on Oz cars battling at 4th position at the moment. Thelen not a great exit onto the jump there, but the 2 of them still going at it, and not too far ahead of them is Darren McKenzie. So could be a 3-way battle possibly on for 5th position.
Yeah, this is going to be the battle to watch to the end. We might have to watch after the race if there's a post-race penalty for Wayne Burke cutting that corner. That's a thing that happens in Rallycross. They don't give out penalties during the race. They just add time to the finishing order. But this one, my goodness, 6th 7th, and 8th, 5th, 6th, and 7th, Darren McKenzie is being closed up a bit by that Ford Fiesta of Mitchell Wiley. Again, the Fiesta is looking really good on the dirt. Does a great line through that corner there. Gets the power down a little bit better on the dirt. Over the jump, plenty of air. Land it as best you can. Runs a little bit wide as Darren McKenzie gets into the inside wall. Might have damaged his car, might have damaged his suspension, and he's now very, very closely chased by Mitchell Wiley, and we're on the final lap.
Yeah, absolutely. 1 to go at the moment, and Wiley's going to be all over the back end of McKenzie here. He's going to want to get the job done as quickly as possible. So, and he's only got a couple of corners as well, but Wiley's going to have to try and read this surface change as best as he can. It's worn it quite a bit.
Pauline is going to take the win. She qualified on pole, won her heat on pole for the feature, won from there. Second place, Eddie Kerner. Third place on track. Let's see if it stays that way for Wayne Burke. Fourth, Cohen Attard. And then behind them, that battle we were watching, Darren McKenzie managed to get a little bit clear of Mitchell Wiley. And Mitchell Wiley's teammate Ross Fallon a couple of seconds behind as well. Last car running will be Daniel Aish and Mitchell McLeod, Jake Burton retirements. So all of the heats, all of the last chance qualifying, and all of this feature, we saw some great racing, Cam.
Yeah, absolutely. And Burke's actually got a penalty, so he's dropped down to 6th. So that's promoted Attard, McKenzie, into 4th, Wiley into 5th. So really unfortunate for Burke there, but
about 15 seconds for Wayne Burke.
Yeah, be about that roughly, but yeah, really unfortunate for him there. He's just doing so well.
Yeah, so here is the classified results after all the cars have taken the finish. By 7 seconds, Rebecca Pauline is our winner for Race Clutch over Eddie Kerner. Third place, Motorless Motorsport, Cohen Attard. Fourth, Darren McKenzie. Fifth, Mitchell Wiley, just 0.2 of a second clear of Wayne Burke after his post-race time penalty. That's a very good racing by Mitchell Wiley to the end to keep himself within that window to grab 5th place. So 6th, as I said, Wayne Burke. 7th, Ross Fallon. 8th, Daniel Aish. And our 2 DNFs. They were Mitchell McLeod of Talk Inc. and Jake Burton twice on his roof. No laps classified, so 10 laps down. Cam, the iRacing Rallycross series always throws it up. No exception this week.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been pretty full on for the past few weeks so far in this Rallycross series. It's going to be pretty interesting to see what next week can throw up in the rest of the season, actually. So looking forward to it. Sonoma next week. So going to be really interesting with the way that circuit is. It's a bit more dirt, I'm pretty sure, than tarmac. So we'll favour the Fiestas possibly, but we'll have to see what happens.
Yep, exactly. Second week in a row, the racing was out the wazoo. And as you talk about with Sonoma there, it's a circuit that's a lot more flowing dirt corners, a lot more carrying the momentum than here. It's a lot more stop-start, a lot more hairpin turns. So it will definitely test out the different setups, the different cars, and the different driving styles we've seen. But from us here at SimSpeed, I hope you've enjoyed this broadcast of the iRacing Rallycross Championship. Back same time next week. We've got plenty more action as well, because later on tonight, coming up in about 20 minutes time, over on the iRacing Esports Network, it's the Alpine Stars Geodesic Racing Sprint Series Australasia. 45 minutes of GTE racing at Twin Ring Motegi. That's going to be a very interesting one to watch as well. And then Thursday night here on SimSpeed TV, it's the Oceanic Sim Racing Formula 3 Championship. And then Friday over on the iRacing Esports Network, Australian Online Supercar Championship. I think they're coming at you from Daytona. So that's always an interesting place for V8 supercars. And then I think it's the same circuit on Monday night, again on the iRacing Esports Network for the Monday night official V8 Supercar Championship. And correcting myself, they are coming at you from Charlotte Roval. So lots of action, plenty of sim racing action. Join us for all of that. Hope you enjoyed. I'm David Haynes. Joining me was Cam Dance with all of the buttons keeping us across all the action. Jay Kennedy. See you soon.